your lazy bums yearning to camp for free, the mentally ill, criminals, drug addicts, send these and all your freeloaders to me. I roll out the red carpet by the Berkeley Pier.
Massive piles of trash are building up in a heavily traveled part of Berkeley, either side of a freeway off-ramp. It's an area that belongs to Caltrans.
The University Avenue exit off of Interstate 80, and if you look over here, you can see exactly what we're talking about. Piles of trash. It's very similar to what you'd see all along this corridor. The city says they want to come in with public works crews and clean it up, but they can't. They don't own this land. Where we're standing right now is actually owned by the state.
It's incredibly frustrating because
while I left, I wanted to show you guys Berkeley Marina. Now, at the Berkeley Marina, you are allotted 72 hours to park in any one spot. Now, once those 72 hours is up, all you do is go from one side of the marina to the other side of the marina. And as you guys see, there's other van dwellers who also park here. If you guys are ever in San Francisco Bay Area and you're looking for a place where you can park your vehicle overnight, make sure you guys check out the Berkeley Marina. Anywhere you look.
Actually headed to Berkeley and we're gonna boondock there. You just find a parking space wherever you can. Like right here is perfect. And I mean, it's not the prettiest thing, very industrial, but hey, it works. It's a place to stay and they don't harass you.
It's not much to look at, but it's halfway decent. It's got places to sit and I don't know, it's home for now. I lost my job in Placerville.
The best place for my kid to get an education is right here in Berkeley. I moved from Vallejo in a house to come out here in the RV for my kids to have a better education. And if you take that away from them, then you got a whole nother problem with me. And I mean that with my life. You cannot take me and my family away from these RVs in Berkeley, period. I would literally die before you do so.
People are also coming from other cities and even other states.
That's because we're the only state that gives out money immediately.
Months ago. At one point, up to 70 RVs camped out at the Berkeley Marina.
We've had complaints of feces and hypodermic needles and reports of assault. A number of people in boats and otherwise have reported break-ins.
They received dozens of complaints from nearby businesses and the people living on boats and boathouses across from the RV encampment.
Very glad that the city and the harbor has finally supported all of our requests to get these people to move on.
And no parking signs are now being placed that say the vehicles have to be out by next Monday. The city has gotten complaints about the RVs from boat owners, including this man named Bruce, who rents a slip here.
So, to say there is no impact on this here, no. I actually am leaving this marina as well as 5 others because of this.
A caravan of RVs playing a game of cat and mouse with the city of Berkeley. Dozens of people living in the vehicles were ordered to leave their spots along Marina Boulevard, so they moved to a restaurant parking lot around the corner.
For weeks, the city of Berkeley decided it had an untenable RV situation over at the Berkeley Marina, but tonight it would appear that the city has the exact same situation on its hands, only about half a mile away.
The real problem is that there's no place for people to go. I mean, I think that what these people have asked is to give us an alternative. If you don't want us where we are, tell us where we can be within the city limits.
They've been staying in RVs at the marina. Many of them told KPIX5's Dahlin they have nowhere else to go.
The city has now given them until 11 o'clock tonight to leave that parking lot, but many of them have nowhere to go.
So they've essentially said to all of these people, families, disabled people, veterans, you can't be here, and we're not telling you where you can go. You basically just get out of town.
And my family lives here. I'm born and raised here, so I am not leaving. You know, I'm Berkeley.
Living, it's their vehicle. They should be able to do that, especially if they're not violating any other parking ordinance. If they're small enough to fit inside a standard parking space, and some people are going to get upset with me for saying this, and they're not violating any parking laws, there shouldn't be any additional laws that are created to get rid of them.
The homeless, but the folks I'm talking to here say this is their home and they don't want to leave.
This is the average neighborhood. It's just in an unaverage spot.
Police handed out warning notices saying move or get towed.
They just keep harassing us. You know, we're not doing nothing bad out here.
There are dozens of people living in motorhomes and campers parked in the back half of his lordship's lot.
I mean, I'm not saying that they're less important than us. I'm just saying that if it comes down to survival or making money, survival should always come first.
Just trying to survive.
On the very margins, right, as marginalized as we can get, but this is too marginalized because we're near their marina.
Lordship here at the Berkeley Marina saw 1,200 people come through for their very popular Father's Day brunch. But with RVs filling up half the lot, parking is at a premium.
There's really nowhere to park.
People who live in the RVs in the Berkeley Marina are fed up. They say that they're tired of being served eviction notices, and now they're standing their ground. KPIX 5's Jackie Ward on the new demands that they have for the city.
Back to where they called home for a year and a half. These RV owners are over being told to move again.
People like people.
Today, the Berkeley Marina Friends on Wheels group is presenting a list of demands to the city. They've asked for a cease and desist on the persistent order to move, a safe place for them to park, and running water.
By UN standards, we shouldn't have to ask for that, but we have to, because otherwise we have to find spigots that they haven't already removed the handles from.
A crime tape went up around a section of Union Point Park Sunday morning after Oakland police learned of a shooting involving 2 children. Just before 10:30 a.m., a relative took a 7-year-old boy to a local hospital with a gunshot wound. Police say the boy lives in an RV at the camp.
Getting an earful from Home Depot's manager.
They're all around his facility. They're breaking through his fence, stealing his lumber, stealing his tools and his carts, and then they're breaking into the customers' cars. And he's had to hire his own security force day in, day out, and it's costing him, and they're losing 25% of their revenue.
Oakland resident Jennifer Engel has been for 14 years. She wants to support the city, but with the growing homeless problem scaring away families, she says the city isn't supporting her.
I don't want children near it. I don't want children to be exposed to it, and that's why it just shocks me that Oakland is not doing anything about it. They should be taking care of us.
As Berkeley bans its overnight RV parking and San Francisco cracks down on overnight camping in its parks, more homeless people are moving to encampments in Oakland. You might be familiar with this one at the Home Depot. And one city council member is concerned that encampments like this are driving businesses out of Oakland.
Meet Kay. She's the unofficial mayor of one of Oakland's largest homeless encampments.
Here, 66 was closed.
She says people are also coming from other cities and even other states.
That's because we're the only state that gives out money immediately.
Her neighbor, Elizabeth, moved in just about a month ago. She paid Kay $500 to live in this encampment on the street.
Homeless people are now renting out vans so they don't have to sleep on the street. One Venice man, in fact, is cashing in on the trend in a big way. The so-called van lord is charging a fraction of the going apartment rent.
But most of the vans don't work, and many are parked in affluent areas where homeowners are not so happy about their new neighbors.
His story.
I mean, it's either live in the van or sleep on the street. It's a challenge. I work 40 hours a week. I can't afford to live around here. I'm trying. What else you want?
Jack pays $300 to rent the van. There's multiple vans like it with bumper stickers. Van life is not a crime. We spoke to Gary Gallery, the owner of the vans, on the phone, also called the van lord by locals.
Ask anybody that complains what they've done to help the homeless get housed.
Yeah, that's the van lord's van right there. Things done out here, but the van lord says he doesn't have any plans on moving his vans at this time.
She says the nights are the worst when most of her neighbors are on meth.
The humanity is not there no more.
She's already been robbed once, but even worse, she says the back of her house is being used as a toilet.
Whose is this?
It's a situation she recently complained about to Oakland City Council member Noel Gallo.
It's become a real serious public health issue.
He knows a lot of the inhabitants of the encampment by name because he says he's here all the time cleaning up trash.
If I don't pick up 200 needles every Saturday and Sunday, I didn't pick up enough.
But until the city can offer Kay an alternative, she and her neighbors will stay.
But right now the city's response is, well, we got to find another location. I see. And we're stuck at that.
Even if you move everybody from here, it's another location we'll be at. And then you have to do it again and again and again and again. So that's not a solution.
The reality is they're serious about leaving because they've lost customers, revenue, and you can look around you, it's a blight. Look at all their material that people are stealing on both sides of the issue, and that's real.
Home Depot pays the overtime for 2 Oakland police officers to patrol full-time. The metal fencing has been cut in various places. Shopping carts and merchandise apparently stolen can be seen throughout the camp. Do you worry that a big company like Home Depot might leave Oakland?
Absolutely, and let me just be clear, we need to clean these impacts up while being compassionate.
Most of the encampment is on city property adjacent to the store's front parking lot.
Because of all the blight in this area, and to add insult to injury, the city has actually cited Home Depot because of all of the trash that's accumulated here.
Venice, they did work with some leaders around here, and they put these planter boxes up to prevent people from putting their tents on the sidewalk right here. So people in Venice, they are very concerned about the homeless, and they want some.
The real homeless you don't see. Out-of-work truckers or construction workers who've run into bad luck don't live like this, in tents on mud patches. This is something different. This is drugs, heroin, meth. Citizens know it.
Can we at least acknowledge the elephant in the room that this is also a drug problem? I've only heard it being mentioned as a housing problem. This is a drug problem.
The quote-unquote homeless know it too.
I have not met anyone else on the street who's not in some phase of addiction. I mean, of use, of serious use. And I think that that's the starting point. You just have to address that. You have to figure that out.
So I want to make sure I got that correct.
I would say 100% of the people that I have met out here are in some level of addiction.
100%?
Yeah.
Every single person?
Every single person I've met out here.
But listen closely. We constantly refer to it as a homeless crisis, not a drug crisis.
The fractured, siloed approach of homelessness in our region.
To help combat the homelessness epidemic.
And the homelessness crisis.
We have a crisis around housing and homelessness.
Hopefully not too long though. I can't call too many people my friends down here because really we're all a level of crazy. The addictions go from heroin to weed to, there's a lady around the street that doesn't do any drugs, but she's crazier than them all, you know?
I've been homeless now since 2017. There's no camaraderie among the homeless. You don't make friends. Love trucks.
Everybody out here is on survival mode.
They're on survival mode. Like most homeless people, I'd say the majority are drug addicted or mentally ill, or both, usually both.
In San Francisco alone, a bike is stolen every 3 hours. Most of them are never recovered. The reason? Chop shops.
Scene of the crime.
Roger was sitting in his car on busy Valencia Street when a thief stole a bike right next to him.
He ended up at one of those chop shops.
Homeless encampments like these, where bikes and parts pile up. He says police frequently sweep these camps, but they just pop back up.
People from all over the city come to these chop shops and they exchange stolen bikes usually for drugs or money to buy drugs.
These encampments also attract other types of crime. We watched as people fumbled with piles of cell phones and bought and sold drugs, doing them right out in the open.
He's been arrested for a number of different things, including possession of stolen property, burglary, domestic violence, assault.
Police arrested him again last month.
We hustle to survive out there because obviously we're homeless and try to make it on the streets.
And let me just be clear. I want to assure the citizens of Oakland that we are hell-bent on rooting out this disgusting culture about how serious we are and to root out what is clearly a toxic
culture of drug addiction and criminality disguised as homelessness.
And let me just be clear that we are hell-bent on rooting out this disgusting culture and to root out what is clearly a toxic culture of drug addiction and criminality disguised as homelessness.
Clearing operation.
You know, for some people in this neighborhood, it is something that should have happened a long time ago.
All my neighbors I know that deals with this and confronted with this, they couldn't be happier.
Yeah, we've gotten some thank yous. We've gotten a lot of thank yous from folks. People are compassionate and they're very concerned about our unsheltered, as are we. But they also, wanted to see some standards. The city